news, everyone.
Yes, good news indeed. Blizzard are listening. So we have some confirmation that some changes have been made on the PTR, which I'm on at the moment. This is 19089. And if you have a look here, 1.33.0, 19089. So this is the PTR. If you go to the options on the gameplay, we have new features, the camera settings. So the request for camera settings has actually been implemented. So it's curious because we didn't think we'd get it, but we have it. It might not be exactly how you want it, but we got it. So you can either enable it or disable it. So pretty straightforward. If you have it unenabled, then you'll just be on the default of 1900, I assume. 1650, sorry. I got so used to 1900 now. It feels weird looking at 1650. So you can see these numbers. That's where you're really zoomed in. The depth of field. And then this is the default game camera, 1650, with the isometric look before you start zooming in. So it goes up to 1900, 2400, 2700, and 3000. So those are pretty large jumps. There's no specific number that you can type in here nor slide towards. It's all just a big fixed number. You can set your max camera distance, but notice that the max camera distance can only go as low as your current default camera distance. So when the game starts, you're at 1900, and your max camera distance can only be 1900. You can zoom in closer than that, but this is as far as you can zoom out. If you want to get past that, though, you can have it default on 1900, and then as the game's progressing, you may feel like, oh, I want to look all the way out. Well, you can if you do this. So let's do that, for example, and go into a game just to show it off. So in single player. Oh, yeah, there's new icons as well. I'll go over those shortly, but you'll see one of them when we go into this custom game. So there's a few little extras that we got here. So that'll do. Booty Bay. Let's show off Orc, for example, because if you remember, I showed that screenshot of the Orc. See the icon there at the bottom, at the left-hand side? That's new. That's a classic HD Plus. HD Plus, Classic Plus. Can we call it Classic Plus? The only thing that I have an issue with Classic Plus being the title is because it's in reference to that StarCraft 2 video where the models are taken from Warcraft 3 and improved in the sense that they're higher detail, but the animations aren't exactly the same. They are very true to the original, but they're not the original. So for me, I don't want Classic Plus to be referred to a StarCraft 2 port back into Warcraft 3. I want Classic Plus to be the Warcraft 3 Classic, but with resolution. I don't want the models looking bigger or smaller or extra limbs. I just want higher fidelity on the resolution of the skin textures that are put on those models. That's all I want. So let's say Classic Plus, but that's what I mean when I say Classic Plus. Okay, got that over with. So if we go first things first, zoom out. Look, there it is, there it is, there it is. And then back in we go. So there's a button that you can press now, F5. It takes you to the default zoom that you set. So that's 1900 for me. This is, hang on a second. There you go. That's 1650. If I press F5, back to 1900, 2100, 2450, 2700, I think. Along those lines. I forgot all the numbers, but F5 will take you back. So F5 is essentially the equivalent of pressing -Z. I would like there to be a hotkey to change F5 because I use Let's Go's Warcraft Toolkit, which is a tool used to change the inventory hotkeys. So for your hero, you have an inventory, and in your inventory, you'll have things like Potion of Invincibility, you'll have a Potion of Healing, you'll have Healing Salve, you'll have Scroll of Town Portal. And F5, I always put my Town Portal on this one because this is F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. So if I double click F5, I can't do it because I haven't got my Let's Go's Warcraft Toolkit on. So ideally, there'll be a hotkey to set that to anything you want, or even have the option to type in a command, whichever is more convenient to you. For others, F5 will be great, those that have learned to use F1, F2, F3 for their heroes, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for their units, etc. Unfortunately, when I learned Warcraft 3, I never knew that you pressed F1 or F2 or F3 for your heroes. I always hotkeyed them to 1, 2, 3, and then my units followed in 4, 5, 6, and therefore. So my buildings are all 7, 8, 9, 0, which is probably why my macros suck so much. Because for me to press the buildings, I have to go all the way to the end of the keyboard. And I focus so much on micro as a consequence. So it is what it is. F5 is the key though, so at least we have that for you guys. I won't be using it so much myself, but it is there. And you can clearly see it's working. And you can see the game menu's working. We're playing as Orc. We have an Orc menu, as it should be. So that's fantastic, isn't it? And if you notice, we can hear the music, which is also fixed. Yeah, that's some Orc music right there. The didgeridoo Orc music that we all know and love. This is like the least Orc music track I think I've ever heard. So the time that I put the music on, it's literally playing the most ambient rubbish possible. I know you got better Orc music than that, but I tested this anyway with Night Elf, and the menu works properly as Night Elf. The music moves from track to track, so I waited for one of the songs to finish, and then the next song kicks in, and it's still Night Elf. There we go. Now that's what I would call Orc music. That's Orc music. That's better. So, okay. So we got the... Oh yeah, another thing actually. Thinking about it. Insert, delete. Insert, delete. It works. Zoom out. Insert, delete. Zoom in. Insert, delete. And insert, delete whilst just zooming in and out. If you're a madman. So, that's brilliant. So, they are addressing the issues that they basically broke. Which is impressive for Blizzard this day and age. I'm impressed. Well done. Impressive work indeed, boys. Well done. Maybe you'll get an extra shelf in the janitor's office as a consequence. So we got fixed insert delete, fixed in-game music, fixed game menu, resembling the correct race, and a subjective opinion from mine is that the actual menu and everything is smoother. So when you're going back and forth, this feels smoother, like the web UI has been improved. I can't tell if that's because I'm offline though, and being online might have a negative impact. But it seems quicker, which is good. I'd still prefer it to be like instantaneous, because, you know, I want to get to the point, really. One other thing that you may be concerned about, by the way, if you're looking at the point of view from the zoom thinking, I still have that issue where if I accidentally zoom out or hit the middle mouse button backwards, it's not so much of a problem when you go forwards, because you can always pull it back to get maxed out backwards to the default that you want it to be. You can set this to 1900 as well. It does mean that you won't be able to go any further back, but it does also mean that if you pull that middle mouse back, it's going to be 1900 no matter what. So you won't end up sort of like pulling out and then going back in and then pulling out and going back in. So it is good, and it also works in Reforged. I can't be bothered to show you the Reforged equivalent, but it is working in Reforged. All of these things that I just addressed. We're caring about Classic here. And speaking of which, if we take a look at the collection, you may notice something. The Classic versus Portraits. So I have this one immediately turned on. So otherwise you choose between these. Or you, of course, go for the Classic version. So they've actually brought us the Reign of Chaos and the Frozen Throne portraits or icons for winning. So 25, 250, 500, 1500. That's Reign of Chaos. So these are the Reign of Chaos portraits. And then when you get over to here, this is the Frozen Throne. So 25, 150, 350, 750, 1500. So you get one extra icon with the Frozen Throne. So it's 4 for each race, including random as well, in Reign of Chaos, and 5 for each race with the Frozen Throne. The only thing missing are the tournament icons. So maybe we'll get tournament as well after they've got ladder sorted, custom campaign sorted, clan sorted, and then potentially automated ladders again. I don't know about that, tournaments. I'm not sure if they had any implementation to bring that back as a default feature, because obviously they're trying to bring the things back that they sort of took away from us in the original game, the promises that they broke. But I'm not sure if automated tournaments were ever a thing that they were going to guarantee bringing back. You guys may know better than I do. You probably do, because I don't know. So let's take a look at the next section here. So whack this on. Here we have the icons in their color, all their glory. So we've seen those ones, but we've yet to see these ones. And they do look absolutely fantastic. What do you guys think? Any opinions? I really like them. I can't even find ones that I don't like. I'm struggling. Jaina, her eyes are sort of shifting off to the right. Gives her an air of a sort of mystique. Maiev has that kind of intensity to her. Illidan has this cool charm. He's got this kind of strange red stroke, which is like outside of his face, the border of it. Spirit Walkers look like they need a dental hygienist. But otherwise, I think it's really, yeah, it's crisp, isn't it? It's the originals, but just like someone painted over them and just enhanced them without actually losing the quality that the originals brought us. So really, really nice stuff. I have this as well. This is Bogdanov is responsible for letting me know about this. So thank you, Bogdanov. This is on his Warcraft Reunited Discord, and you can sort of see the pictures more zoomed in from this aspect. And yeah, really, really nice. The detail just... I mean, this one I've got to come back to in a second. He's actually got a cheeky grin, which I like. I always like it if they got a cheeky grin. But especially this guy. Oh, what a Chad. And he's got a cheeky grin as well. So he was like another one that I would go for. If they got a cheeky grin, I'm going to pick them, basically. But yeah, the Crypt Lord. Are these eyeballs? I want to know. Put in the comments section below yes or no. And then eyeballs. Because I don't think they should be. I think his eyeballs are kind of like part of his face. And this is like plate armor. And this is like almost a gem decoration. But it's the same color as his eyes. Because he has green eyes. You'll see in a moment. When we get into this. So coming back to here. This is an old post from Blizzard. If you scroll down to Anubarak. Open this in a new tab. And... here, if we scroll in, you got those 2 green gems, essentially the eyes in quotation marks, and his mouth is here, but you can't see his eyes very clearly. I will find that for you in a second if I do this. I'll pull that up in a moment. But you can clearly see here, that's kind of his face structure. And then this is like armor adorned on it. So if those are eyes, they're eyes that are sort of inside of his armor, or the armor's like had holes cut in it, so his eyes that are over here can see out, but it looks like the eyes are on the armor. So I am really going down a rabbit hole on this one, and it has absolutely perplexed me. But if we take, for example, our Crypt Lord, so Undead Heroes, Crypt Lord, now whack him up to about 8 and turn off the lighting. Go to Undead. Find ourselves a cheeky Crypt Lord. And this is the classic version. So we can sort of look in here a little bit. And look at that. those, are they eyeballs? Because if you look underneath here, you've got to get just right to see his eyeballs. It's very hard. Those right there, if he could stand still for a second, that'd be great. You see the green is his eyes over here. And he's got like 2 of them that I can see there. And it's underneath this plate armor. So that, for me, are his eyeballs. And this is not. So he's got like the tusk, he's got the mouth, he's got the eyeballs. But you guys decide, because I can't make it. I can't make it up. What's this? I'm getting a link to a World of Warcraft thing here now. Yeah, look, it's like the 2 sort of gems adorned. But the eyes are really here. So, I don't think they're eyeballs. I don't think they're eyeballs. Even though technically this thing talks about Anubarak's many eyes and teeth have been modeled in meticulous detail. And technically there is more detail on that section there. But I digress. We have the icons, which we can see here. These are the OG original icons for Reign of Chaos. So you can see 25, 250, 500, and 1500 wins for each race, including random. 4 of each. And then there's the Frozen Throne. So you can see them there as well, with the icons being the tournament ones here. So I did a little picture to sort of show it a bit more clearly. So here you can see all of the icons, Reign of Chaos and the Frozen Throne. And you always start off as an Orc peon. So yeah, it's time to start collecting those icons again. But I guess you can only do that on Battle.net. You won't be able to do that on Warfree Champions. Although Warfree Champions have their own icons and you can collect icons that way. So I don't think this is really going to have any impact on Warfree Champions, to be honest. But at least we have them. At least we have them. So the only thing missing are the tournament icons. The Felguard, the Infernal, and the Doomguard, and the Pit Lord, and the Archimond. Those we do not have. But otherwise, it's good. We're getting more icons. Blizzard are basically addressing issues that we've been posting on the forums. On top of giving us new features such as the Zoom, which they never had in the original base game. And they adapted that Zoom to comments that we made in videos and posts on the forums. So they're either watching these videos or paying attention at least to the forums. So it's good to see that they're taking on board our feedback and actually making some improvements. So the patch still wasn't even out yet. There was actually a maintenance for the patch, but that was in the morning, this morning. So I thought the patch was actually going to be sort of forced out, but it hasn't been forced out yet. We still have a separation between the actual 1.33 PTR and the 1.32 Warcraft 3. So really good news, and see how we go. But I think they've addressed a lot of the things that I was concerned about. I know there's plenty more for them to be concerned about, but that's the more technical area where I don't have the expertise in. Whereas I can look at something and go, hey, that's not right. But there is actually something that's still not right. Thinking about that. The font. I checked the font between the PTR and the actual current game, and the font is still incorrect. It's a small thing, but it's still... Blizzard, if you're listening, sort that font, please. It's still not correct. I just can't look at the food supply or the lumber anymore in the same way. It just breaks my heart. But, do I think that the community is still hating on every patch? No, I think there's been more positivity towards it. There's still the idiots that go, bring the patch here! We need the patch now! Well, why do you need the patch now? Why? You're only going to play it for 5 minutes and then log off and go play League of Legends. Get the hell out of here. So, yeah, that's it basically. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Have a good day. Subscribe. Smash that like button. Twitch.tv/Witty. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.